Hello and welcome to another episode of Minimize Regret. In this episode, I want to talk about competition. Now, competition is certainly a double edged sword because the truth is, especially in the modern world, things tend to be quite winner take all. And that means, for the most part, if you keep competing and competing, eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to lose. And even if you do find yourself in situations where you continue to win and win, your ego can kind of get caught up in that thing, whatever you happen to be winning at, and it kind of can reduce your mental flexibility and also stop you from branching out to new things and growing in other areas. However, if you want to get better, think competition is required. And the reason I thought of this was because today at work I heard about one of my colleagues working on a project, and it really sounds like and this is a data project just for reference, it sounds like he was able to provide a lot of value. And me being a new employee, I was like, oh man, he really sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He really sounds like he got the best out of the situation. How can I do the same? And I started to get nervous and feel a little bit of anxiety, like maybe I'm not good enough. But at the same time, that's going to push me in my next project to do better and see if I can provide more value. And so, as long as I don't let it get carried away, as this isn't the whole world. This is just one company where I'm working with data, and there's not all that many people. But I still think having those people around and having a little bit of healthy competition with them is really going to be important in terms of driving me forward and having me do better. So honestly, competition has been something that I've shied away with earlier in my life, and I do have regrets about it. Uh, Potentially because I thought I just couldn't handle the stress, whether it was school. I never tried super hard, and I didn't go to the most challenging schools. Um, Soccer, I only played on my high school team. I didn't really push myself to go out and play club soccer, which I've talked about before. In data, I've definitely pushed myself at various points, but there's definitely times where I felt more complacent and like I didn't really need to get better because I was doing my job just fine. And I don't regret pushing things to the highest level of competition and being the absolute and striving to be the absolute best in the world. But I do regret not having more competition in my life and challenging myself a little bit more often and in relationship to others, because that's really, obviously you don't want to compare to yourself to people all the time. Like that's just a pathway straight to the ego, which is guaranteed unhappiness because the ego will always say you're never enough. However, if you do want to improve and get the best out of yourself, the truth is you need competition. So that's definitely at least a minor regret of mine from the past of not competing more and not really getting that push from other people to improve. So I'm trying to implement that now. And for me, really the primary place is at work, because like I don't necessarily need to compete at other areas right now, but if something else comes up, I'll definitely consider adding competition in. But at the same time, people can only handle so much stress and so much pressure, so it is important to acknowledge which areas you want to be competitive in and which areas you're okay with just accepting where you are. So that's all I've got for the video. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.